Do we have anyone online? Let's hold on for a couple of minutes.
Board attorney. And I just want to give you some advice. At this point, we don't have a quorum, so we were supposed to elect officers tonight. We wouldn't be able to do that. The meeting can still be conducted and you can talk about the items on the agenda. It's just you can't take any official votes for anything. Now, hopefully we get a couple people online and we can proceed with a quorum. So I just wanted to give you an update.
Hello.
Sarah, is it necessary for us to call the roll regardless?
Yes, I will proceed with the roll call, and then I'll turn it back
Thank
over
you.
to you. So, Mr. Frederick Atkins, Greta Campbell is absent. Ms. Bobby D'Alessandro, she is joining us via Teams. Mr. Fred Elliott. Here. Ramey Hall is also joining us via Teams. Mr. James May. Joe Mazurkowitz had an excused absence. Joseph Mitchell is out. Joshua Melendez, we are anticipating him via Teams, so if he does join, I'll let you know that we have a quorum once he does. Cole Peacock. Matthew Ropestorff, he had an excused absence. Jay Santos is out. Ms. Sharon Schulman. Ms. Sia Sherman also had an excused absence, and Mr. Chris Semino.
Thank you. Just to confirm, how many do we have online?
We have 2 online.
So we have 7.
We have Bobby and Lori Ramey.
Great, so we have 7, but we need 8.
Correct.
Correct.
I recommend we postpone item number 2 until a quorum is established. I recommend we postpone number 3 until a quorum is established. Is there any public comment? Hearing none. ISSOC Chair Update number 4. I did share the op-ed that was written in the paper. Is there any comments or thoughts or feedback on that? Thank you. Anything else on any public issues? We'll return to other comments as they come up. Moving to number 6, Ms. Jada, you have a
Thank
board
you.
member update.
Thank you. Just a quick update for the community and for this committee. First of all, thank you all for being here. I know it's a drive for you, so thank you for coming in. Thank you for those that are listening online. We did just have the ribbon cutting with the Alva High School. That was incredibly exciting. Lots going on there. I think it's going to be very innovative for that part of the community to just be the perfect fit. The other thing that I also attended this past weekend, or this week, was a Lee Health update, and the biggest takeaway for me was that every day, I believe the statistic was 30 children are born a day in Lee County. That's 1 classroom a day. So we're going to have to find places for those children. So I just thought that just really shed some light on how much we are growing. Other than that, I know that our amazing team's here to update you on all of the other things that are going on. I did drive by Cypress Lake Middle today, and I don't want to steal your thunder, Scott, but it's coming along very nicely. So thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Jada? You got off easy. No quorum, no questions. All right, we'll move to number 7, sharing sales tax with charter schools. Matt, are you ready to go?
And I'll preface this conversation with, the committee had a lot of questions and concerns about sharing the sales tax with charter schools and how we're doing that going forward. So we've put together this information with you about some of our processes and procedures, the information that we're seeking from charter schools on a quarterly basis, and that's the information that Matt is going to walk through for you tonight.
Thank you, Sarah.
Hi, good evening, committee. Matt Acosta, Assistant Budget Director. So I'm going to share with you just where we're at with the charter disbursements. The first slide you'll see here is our estimated charter disbursements based off the agreements that we currently have in place, totaling through FY29, $25.6 million, or about 6% of the $419 million that we anticipate receiving through the end of the through FY29. Let's see, this is based off of a proportionate share of our unweighted FTE. So we look at what each charter school's unweighted FTE is in proportion to the district, and then we look at the estimate of what revenue we anticipate receiving for each of those years, and they receive a portion of that. You'll see for FY26 and 29, those are based off partial year. So we started this in January of this year. It'll go through to June, and then for FY29 from July through December.
And I do want to add a point of clarification. At our last meeting, we talked about 40+ million being shared with charter schools, and that was all charter schools, including Charter School USA, who we are currently in litigation with. And so this number is backing that out because we're not sure what will happen with that outcome. So we didn't include them in the total that you're seeing tonight, and I just wanted to point that out to you.
Okay, so how are these funds being dispersed? Currently, we will look at each of the years that we are projected. At the beginning of each year, we're going to look at the projected revenue for sales tax, and then as well looked at the projected unweighted FTE, and from there come out with our proportionate share. At that point, they will be included in our bi-monthly charter disbursements. So bi-monthly, we, along with our FEFP disbursements to the charter schools, these will also be included in those disbursements. At the end of each year, they'll be trued up based off of the actual FTE that we realized, as well as the actual revenue that we have received, and then will be adjusted in preceding disbursements. Okay. So how will these funds be tracked? So currently, so we are building a quarterly charter expense report that will be given to them. The first one will come out at the end of this month. In that, we will ask them to provide backup data for how these funds have been spent. That will be, as part of the agreements we have with the charter schools, we are allowed to request those from them, and they should provide them within 5 business days. So we will be looking to do that, and the best way we sought to do that is with, we have a program called Charter Link that they can upload reports to us, and so we'll be adding that to one of the requirements and requesting that they provide us with that data on a quarterly basis. As well, at the end of each year, or on or before July 31st, we have requested they provide an annual certification of compliance. This is to ensure that they are in line with both Florida statute and with the referendum language. And also, as well, they will need to provide documentation of how those funds were spent, as well as an attestation by their board chair and any finance officer. You also see included in the annual quarterly reports that we provide to you that we now have the charter disbursements shown on those reports. So if you look at the quarterly annual one that we provided to you for today, you'll see that we now have a section that shows the charter disbursements. As well, if you go on to the Change for Change dashboard, you will see that it also is reflected on there. So on the next slide, you can see an example of the quarterly sales tax expense report that we have built. Again, this will be distributed on a quarterly basis to the charter schools, and on there they can choose which referendum category the expense aligns with, and then provide invoices, PO numbers, vendors, and descriptions of what items are being purchased, as well as the amount. Lastly is an example of the current Change for Change website, where you can see what is currently put out there budgeted and what has been dispersed so far. And that is, as well as all the other expenses, that is live data. Any questions?
Let's start online. Are there any questions from online? Hearing none, are there questions in the room? Please.
So these financials are going to come back from them with how they anticipate spending the money. Is this committee going to get anything else to support that? Are we going to actually get presentations from them on their projects, or any updates or pictures like we've gotten from others in the school district? Do you know?
No. So the quarterly expense reports will be based on actuals that they spend. It's not an anticipated of what they spend, so it's more of a retrospective look. But they'll turn those in on a quarterly basis, and we are not asking them to present at ISSOC. I mean, we're talking potentially 20 charter schools, individual charter schools that would have to come and present, and we cannot hold them to that, so there is no plan for them to present at ISSOC. We will just simply share the information that they're reporting to us with you.
A couple easy questions and maybe a hard one.
Okay.
How many schools are we splitting this money with?
We have 23 charter schools currently, but we, as you can see, we do not have Harlem Heights on that, and as of now, we have not reached agreement with Charter USA, so they are not included in the estimate
How many schools are
here.
in Charter USA?
4 schools.
So we're talking about 18?
18.
So 18, and so the average that each school would get roughly is a couple $100,000 a year? It's not millions.
Right, I mean, yes, that's correct.
25 million split between 18 schools over 4 years is $1 million, so less than, what, $300,000 or $400,000 a year per school, but it's per weighted FTE.
Yeah, so it does vary. I mean, some are getting less than 100,000. There are some getting a couple 100,000, all dependent on what their FTE looks like.
Okay. And are we adding this to the site at the end of the quarter after it's been spent, or?
It is being added as part of the, you'll see it as a disbursement. So as part of that calculation that we have for them, we are giving them a disbursement by monthly. So you won't see it as they're spending it, but you'll see it as the district is dispersing to them, and then they are providing those quarterly reports of how it was spent.
Is there any requirement of them to spend it by the end of the sales tax effective date?
We do not have a requirement for that.
And then you said you're not sure about Charter School USA. You're still in litigation in some way. Are
Correct.
we accruing any sales tax funds at any point in case we have to go back and pay them?
No, so we're currently not accruing any sales tax funds for them. Now, we do have a contingency plan in place, but we are not specifically accruing any funds for them at this point.
So is the contingency plan in the financial plan, or?
No, it is not reflected in the financials that you see.
And what's the potential liability of Charter School USA?
I cannot speak to that because it is under litigation. I cannot answer that question.
And I'm not going to, as the board attorney, I'm not going to answer any questions about pending litigation in a public forum at this point, so. And I understand your curiosity, believe me.
Completely understand your
Yeah.
perspective. Ours is the responsibility to oversee the expenditure of the funds. You're saying some funds are being set aside, but you don't know how much and you won't tell us. In a contingency plan.
Yeah, I'm
We'll let it play
just not
out
going
and
to talk
see
about
how
the
it goes.
litigation, yeah.
I would be concerned as a committee if that were a significant amount of funds that is not being disclosed. I don't know. I doubt it would be, but.
I would agree with that.
Any other questions for Mr. Costa? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
We do have a question that came up. You know, that may require a majority of the committee to decide the dates of the.
We have a
Mr.
quorum
Semino,
now.
we do have a quorum.
Oh,
Joshua
we do have a
Melendez
quorum.
just joined, so we have a quorum.
Let's go back to the beginning. Actually, let's go to the easy one. I'll take a motion for approval of the prior meeting minutes.
So moved.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Fred. We'll give that to you. Any question, comment, changes to the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes.
Aye.
We'll go back to item number 2, which is the selection of officers. We do have a quorum, and we are required, per the board policy, to have an election of officers on an annual basis. The last election of officers was in March of 2025, so we are a year away. I have served as the chair. Fred has served as the vice chair. I believe Sia was appointed as the secretary. Are there any nominations for different officers, or would anyone else like to take the chairmanship? This is a public meeting. I'll talk to you later. If there's no objection, I would accept serving an additional year, and the chair could serve 2 consecutive
Yes.
one-year terms. So if there's no objection, I would, and if
We could just, Mr. Chair, if we could just do this cleanly. So could someone, or you could nominate yourself, nominate Mr. Semino if that's...
do we have to do each individual officer, or could we do a slate together?
We have to vote on them individually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it legitimately.
I'll nominate Mr. Semino as the chair for 2026.
I second it.
Are there
Thank you.
any
We have
other
a motion and a
nominations?
second. Is there any discussion?
Sorry, go ahead. Any other nominations?
Sorry. Thought we had to move on.
No.
That was a motion. Was that a motion or a nomination?
Nomination.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're correct. Any other nominations? Sorry, I've been nominated.
Okay, now everybody will do a voice vote. You say yes or no. And I don't have the list, so if you could just read who's here and have them say yes or no.
Yeah, I'll read the list.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Fred Atkins? Yes. Bobby D'Alessandro?
Yes.
Fred Elliott?
Yes.
Ramey Hall?
Yes.
Joshua Melendez?
Yes.
Cole Peacock? Sharon Schulman?
Yes.
And Chris Semino.
Yes. I nominate Fred Elliott to be the vice chair of the committee.
Before you do that, congratulations. And we'll take nominations now for vice chair. Go ahead.
I'll nominate Fred Elliott to be the vice chair.
I'll second
I
it.
second it.
Okay.
Are there any other nominations? I'm getting it, Robin. I'll get there by the end of the meeting. Any other nominations?
Okay, we'll go
Take a
through roll
Roll
call.
call on that.
Frederick Atkins? Yes. Bobby D'Alessandro?
Yes.
Fred Elliott?
Yes.
Ramey Hall?
Yes.
Joe Mitchell? Oh, sorry, he was out. Joshua Melendez?
Yes.
Cole Peacock? Yes. Sharon Schulman?
Yes.
And Chris Semino.
Yes. Do we have any other officers?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving to item number 8, sorry, not good with Roman numerals. We had a discussion at our last meeting around changing some meeting dates. The next meeting, I believe, is officially June 18th at 6 p.m. But we did have a conversation about moving some meetings to correspond to the end of the fiscal quarter. And so there's a recommendation from the staff that we have our next meeting after the June 18 meeting to July 9 and October 8. I have some concerns that we're going to meet on June 18th and then 3 weeks later on July 9th. I'm not sure that that's necessary. So is there any discussion about the proposed meeting dates? May I ask a question of council? Yeah. Is it appropriate to not have a meeting on July 9th, move our next scheduled meeting to October 8th, with the following meeting beginning in January? So in the calendar year of 2026, we would have 3 meetings rather than 4.
No, the policy requires at a minimum, the committee meet quarterly. So you have to have 4 meetings.
So you have to have 4 meetings. Well, we got one scheduled for September too, don't we?
Now, did you have one already this calendar year or no?
We have not. The issue that we ran into was having a meeting in the holiday season, and we asked, or a member asked to push it back.
Yeah, it's supposed to be on a quarterly basis, so.
Is there an issue with,
So I think you're good, and then you would need one between April and June.
well, we have a meeting scheduled for June 18th.
Yeah.
And the recommendation is to have one on July 9th, which is 3 weeks later.
And then you'd have to have one more after
I'm
that.
okay with it. If the committee wants to have one 3 weeks later, there's not a whole lot more to discuss after 3 weeks, but if it's mandatory.
Yeah, and then you would just need one between September or October and December to meet the quarterly requirement.
August too.
I mean, I don't have a problem with a brief meeting if we need to do this. Let's just go with a letter.
Is it possible to do an entirely online meeting on
Yes.
July 9th as a checklist?
Yes, if that's the vote of the committee, absolutely.
Okay. My recommendation is that we meet as a committee on June 18th as scheduled and do an online meeting on July 9th and have our final meeting of the year, the fourth meeting, on October 8th. Does anyone have any issues with that? What that would do is push our next meeting into January of '27, and then we would get on a 4, and it would avoid the holiday meeting in December, which is where we ran into a problem last time.
That's a good solution.
Can I have a motion of June 18th, July 9th, and October 8th?
I so move.
So moved.
Can you second, Sharon?
Second.
We'll take the first online and a second. Any other conversation, discussion?
Mr. Chair, if you will, just state that the second meeting that you just outlined is going to be via Teams, online.
So the motion on the floor is for our next meeting to be June 18th, the meeting after that on July 9th to be online, and the final meeting of the year to be October 8th. Everyone okay with that as a motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on, we'll skip to the carry forward item related to the weighted average of depreciation of the sales tax. And as a reminder to the committee, this was something that we asked for a little bit ago. School district took some time to look into it, and we're here to hear from Sarah
Yes.
about the weighted
I'm
average.
excited to finally present this to you guys. I do want to preface the conversation with how we track our fixed assets. So our board threshold for tagging an asset and putting it onto our official property records is $5,000. So, and we break things out into 4 different categories. One is buildings, which we don't see reflective in in the sales tax fund, and that's because we don't pay for the building with sales tax. We pay for the debt service with sales tax. So unless it's a building that we have paid for with cash, for example, the Veterans Park and Lemuel Teal Black Box Theater, that was a cash project, but it's not reflected in our assets at this point because it just finished construction recently, so we'll see that reflected next year. But at this point, we have no buildings on our books because all of those buildings have been paid with the debt service funds, and we have just paid the debt service with sales tax funds. So I just want to clarify that piece. A second category that we track is building improvements. That would be things such as like new fencing, new walkway canopies, things of that nature. And those items go onto our property records with a 20-year life. And currently we have $6.2 million worth of assets in that category, or 35 assets total with the value of $6.2 million. And again, those depreciate over a 20-year period. We also have furniture, fixtures, and equipment. They depreciate over a 10-year period. And we have currently 443 FF&E assets on our books. The original cost value was $13.6 million. And then lastly, we have technology that gets added to our books with a 5-year life. We have 136 assets at a value of $4 million. So total assets, 5,000 or over on our books is about $23.8 million for a number of 614 assets. And the total depreciation of those assets is $2.4 million. So when you take that and look at it at a weighted average, the weighted average depreciation at this point in time is currently about 10%. So The assets that we have on the books for sales tax have about a 10% depreciation at this point in time. And so I wanted to provide some of that context because when you look at how much we have spent out of the sales tax, 600 plus million, it doesn't seem like a lot of assets on our books, but that's because a majority of the projects out of sales tax are like roof replacements, HVAC, flooring, of that nature, and per GASB, the governmental accounting standards that we follow, we do not tag those assets and put them into our asset system because that building's original value is already in the system, so we don't replicate an asset in sense. So that is the information I have for you, and I'll open it up to any questions that you have.
So many. Buildings that are paid for by cash are put on your books. Buildings that are paid for by debt service are not tracked.
They are. The buildings are on our books, but they are recorded as funded by debt service because the expenditures to actually construct, like the cost that we pay the contractors, the FF&E for those buildings, it's all recorded under the debt service fund because that's where the expenditure occurred. It was just the debt service payment, the principal and interest payment that was made with sales tax funds.
So they're tracked as an asset and they have a depreciable lifetime.
Correct.
They're just not, you're just not reporting them because they are not paid for by the sales tax. They're paid for by this debt service, which is paid for by the sales tax.
Correct. So in our asset system, they are recorded under the debt service fund, not sales tax fund.
It's one way around that, I guess. But that's not my concern, and I probably shouldn't be the concern of the committee at all. Building improvements, which have a 20-year depreciation, you have $6.2 million in 20-year depreciation on the books. Furniture, fixture, and equipment, you have 10-year depreciation, you have 443 assets at $13.6 million, and the technology is actually depreciated at what time frame? 5 years?
Yes, sir. 5-year period.
But only 136 assets for $4 million. So on the books is $23.8 million of the $600 million that have been expended in the sales tax.
Correct. So that again goes back to, I know there's been a lot of discussion about technology. Those items are typically under $5,000 when we think about Chromebooks, Promethean boards, things of that nature that have been purchased with the sales tax. Because they're under that $5,000 threshold, they do not get added to our official property records. Same with, large HVAC, roof replacements, they're typically like for like replacements. And so under our governmental accounting standards, we don't create what we would call like a zombie asset, where the building itself is already on our official property records, and so that like-for-like replacement doesn't get duplicated for depreciation purposes.
Any thoughts? Here's my thought. Hundreds of millions of dollars are being spent out of sales tax money that are either under $5,000 and not being calculated, and have a depreciable life of 5 years or less. Correct?
The technology piece, I would say, if I had to guess, I'm not looking at the financials to know, but like the technology assets that a majority of them would be under $5,000, like the Chromebooks, it's maybe 20% of the total sales tax budget. A lot of the items like HVAC, roof, those large cost items that aren't, that's a big attributor to that differences of the total spent in sales tax versus what is reflected on our official property records.
How would you justify that if the community and the public wanted to see exactly where these dollars were at, how they've been spent? How would you tell them, we don't have these on the books?
Sure. Well, for one, we're not required to put those type of things on the books, right? It's defined by our asset threshold and board policy. It's the governmental accounting standards that we follow. So as far as tracking where the dollars have been spent and on what, right, that's one of the reasons we have the sales tax dashboard. You can go school by school and kind of see the high-level area that it's occurred in, whether it's maintenance, technology, a safety item. Any other detailed information would have to be requested just as it is for any other expenditure that a public would want to request.
So if I requested everything spent on the sales tax less than the 5,000 or whatever the number is, you could physically say and show the community where it's at.
Anything less than 5,000? I mean, we could definitely pull reports to show where the funds were spent and what they were spent on. Now, as far as where they are at, we would assume they are still at that location in which the purchase occurred, because we do make those purchases at the location level. So, for example, technology, even though they may be ordering the Chromebooks, the purchase is recorded at the school level in which they're ordering the Chromebooks for.
And under GASB, you're not required to keep a property listing of less than $5,000.
Correct, and
On
that's
the
our board
financial statements.
policy as well.
Yeah. Let me express my concern to the committee. We're charged with evaluating the use of the sales tax for things. We are in year 7. We have had no commitment from the school board for a commitment of this, right? So this sunsets in 28, and we are making decisions about a tremendous amount of expenditures that will be obsolete when this tax expires. Hundreds of millions of dollars, according to this. So the Chromebooks that we're buying in 29 will be obsolete. The security systems will be obsolete. And there's been no indication from the school board of where or how that would be paid for when it comes back. So my concern is that this committee, on behalf of the taxpayers, is approving things that have a very short shelf life. And I don't think that that's prudent to take taxpayer funds and invest them in short-term assets. So I'm not concerned about buildings which have 40-year timeframes or building improvements that have 20-year timeframes. I think that those are good investments. As we move lower into the size of the expenditures, I worry that we're going to put our school at a deficit when the expiration of this tax comes and we've expended all this money on expendable equipment. So, just a statement, there's not much I can do about it other than suggest that we should not approve or look at things that will be expired when the sales tax expires.
To your statement, we ask this routinely in the meetings, and we've yet to have an answer or an outcome of how it's going to be funded moving forward.
So they're going to come to us and ask for something that will be expiring after this because they haven't taken an approach on whether this will be extended or not. I think it would be prudent for the committee to consider whether that's an appropriate use of the expenditure.
And how do you want the committee to consider that? Because I agree with you.
The district will bring forward the projects, and it's our job to approve or not approve the projects that they bring forward. That's our only...
Okay, so essentially if they bring forward, and I'm asking it as a question, not as a statement, if they bring forward these small technology problems, we may want to say no.
I would have to defer to council to understand whether we can, but I would like an explanation from the school district of what the intention is to replace the items that...
Oh, I don't know the answer to that. I was going to read you the role of the committee, which is to approve the plan, not individual projects. So a plan that's presented to you pursuant to the referendum is what the committee approves. And to provide oversight.
So if that plan were to include things that we disagree with, we have the ability to not accept the plan. What is the committee's oversight?
What you're doing. Yeah.
So we have the ability to not accept the plan if it were to not include things that we were supportive of.
But the committee then it simply advises the board, the school board. The school board has the final say.
Sounds like a waste of time.
So if we did
So your
not,
role is technically oversight, frankly. I mean, it's, and to approve the plan, which is the capital plan moving forward.
Which is funded by sales tax dollars, not the capital plan overall. We're
Some of
to
it,
approve. Excuse me?
Some of it would be, yes.
Sure, but we're not approving a capital plan.
Correct.
We're approving the oversight of the use of the sales tax dollars. Which is represented in your plan. But if there were some objection to the plan.
I just want to read the language, because I don't want to misstate exactly the role of the committee. So, the purpose of overseeing, for the purpose of overseeing and approving the implementation of the plan commencing upon approval of the surtax. That is why the committee was created. There is hereby authorized the establishment of an independent oversight committee of volunteers for the purpose of overseeing and approving the implementation of the plan commencing upon approval of the surtax. So those are the words right from the board policy.
So if we disagree
May I
with
ask
the
a
plan, we
question?
can say we don't approve. I mean, that's the,
Correct, but what I'm trying to say as the board attorney is ultimately the 7 elected members of the board who have appointed most of you have the authority to approve or not approve, for instance, the building of a school.
for point of clarity,
May I
because
ask a question?
believe,
Can I just, let's take someone online first. Sorry, go ahead. I think it's Bobby.
May I ask a question? This is Bobby D'Alessandro. If all those projects, both the Chromebooks and the technology, will be obsolete at the end of this, if there aren't funds to replace them, which they will have to be replaced in some way, that would be my concern, because we're not guaranteed of a sales tax.
That's a you question.
And will the school board have the funds to do that? And I'm not sure they can even tell us that.
Thank you. Very good question. Cool.
just a point of clarity. So I don't recall us ever not approving anything that's been brought to us.
Correct.
If we did not approve, that will be stated to the school board
Yes.
that this committee does not approve this. Does that come from a statement from us? Does that come from you? Is that in the minutes? Is it a look
I think
over?
all of the above, and I think the board liaison or the board member that's part of this committee, although a non-voting member, would also report that to her colleagues at a board meeting.
Okay.
Yes, and I think Sarah might want to add to that.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that after each ISSOC meeting, we do submit information to the board of the draft meeting minutes, the information that was discussed with the committee, so they get all of the handouts that you guys have, plus the draft minutes of the committee's actions and discussions.
Any other discussion about the weighted average depreciation of the sales tax?
Well, could we just stay with where we were? I mean, should we be passing a motion of some sort that we have a concern about things that we are approving, items we are approving, that will be obsolete by the time this is done? I believe we have an obligation to say that. Now, we may not be able to not approve them because the board's going to approve them, but if we have a concern, and that's what I think I'm hearing around the table, but I don't know if that's a majority, then I think we should put that on the record and say so.
I don't know how you might enter something like that into the record. Is that a motion? Is that a statement?
It certainly can be a motion. I mean, it could be a statement from the committee.
I don't know why
Simply
we can't
going
make a
on the
motion
record.
that says that we have a concern, that we would like the school board to address, to take a look at, that we're approving things because it meets the letter of the law, but not good, perhaps as sound management, because it's going to be obsolete by the time this is over.
I would entertain a motion.
That might
if you
be
were
it.
to make it. I
There
think
it is.
it should be very clear about what we're suggesting and what we're
Well, if someone wants to help me clarify that more, I thought it was clear, but okay. I'm open to suggestions.
If that's a motion, we need a second for it, and then we would need to discuss it,
Right.
or a clarifying motion.
It's Josh Melendez, I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. Now, is there any discussion about the motion? Do we have a written or any documentation of how?
Isn't the
Sure.
meeting recorded?
Yes.
Is the meeting recorded? So
The meeting's being recorded, and this is taking minutes as good as she can.
Here, we're open for discussion. So does anyone have any discussion before I offer my own thoughts?
Go ahead.
I'm not sure we're there yet, but I have very serious concerns. And so what I would suggest is, rather than pass that motion, we ask our school board liaison to take this back to the school board and say, there's a potential that if we don't act as a school board, that will come up at the next meeting. Or we can vote on it now. But if the school board continues to push this off, we should continue to have concerns about how this sales tax money are being spent.
And I'd like to interject, I can assure you that I will be relaying this message to the board in my ISSOC update in the good of the order at both the workshop and the action meeting.
So do you think it might be premature to do this motion? You'd rather discuss it at the school board first, or would you like the motion to, so that you've got some strength?
I can't advise you on that.
Okay.
I think
challenge-
it might be respectful. It might be respectful to let them discuss it, and then at the next meeting, we take the motion forward, if nothing was said.
Yeah, table it.
To follow Robert's rules, we have a motion on the table, and we have a second, and we have to take a vote on the
Okay,
motion.
then we have to call the
Are you
motion.
okay?
Then let's call the motion.
I can interject, although I don't want to influence anything, but she could withdraw the
You
motion.
could withdraw the
theoretically.
motion, Sharon. I didn't want to put
But I
that.
could, but we have a motion and a second, so at least two people want to do this, at least bring it to the floor.
If you withdraw your motion and he withdraws his second, we can move on.
Well, and a second doesn't mean a person's necessarily in favor of the motion either. They just
Right.
wanted to discuss it, so. just
Would you
be
like to
clear.
take a vote?
Yes, I'd like to take the vote.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the table, the vote.
By the way, I'm
Hey,
open to
Chairman?
clarifying the motion before the vote, if someone, since we can discuss it at this point. If someone's got some way to
Right.
clarify that more, I'm happy to.
Rather than
Yeah,
clarify.
I guess my
Go
quick
ahead.
question, Josh Melendez. I guess the idea being here is that even our motion is simply, we would like the board to understand our thought process and maybe even respond to us in maybe what the plan is going forward. I don't know that we're making a motion for them to do anything. We're basically just making sure that they understand our concerns, and it was enough concern that we wanted it officially presented in a form of, hey, this is our concerns, which I thought she did a very good job of laying out the motion in that, we are concerned with this going forward, that if this were to occur, that our concern would be, is it proper use of the money if they're still buying short-term assets that are going to expire after the sunset of the tax? So I don't see that we're motioning for them to do anything other than to understand our concern. And I think that's maybe that was her fears, that we wouldn't get a response. If we were to get a response, since we have a board member sitting here with us that could take our concerns to the board and maybe get a response back from them, I don't know if we need a motion to get a response, but I don't see a harm in having a motion laid out as laid out. In other words, if this continues to happen, we would have concerns. So I guess my discussion would be, I didn't know that it needed any clarification, because I don't think we're asking for an action other than, here's the information that we're dealing with today, we'd like a response.
Well said.
So we'll take a vote
Let's-
on the motion.
please.
Can we do it online first, or do you want to do a roll call?
All right, Fred Atkins,
No.
Bobby D'Alessandro. Bobby D'Alessandro? I think I heard her.
What did she say?
No.
Fred Elliott,
No.
Ramey Hall,
Yes.
Joshua Melendez,
Yes.
Cole Peacock. No. Sharon Schulman,
Yes,
and Chris Semino.
No.
motion fails.
Motion doesn't pass. I think the intention, if I could ask you to carry that forward, rather than a formal motion, our concerns and our,
I can assure you I will bring
Thank
this
you.
to the board at our next meeting.
thank you. Any other conversations for the carry forward or the weighted average? Moving forward to the review of the sales tax funded projects, who gets to follow that? Mr. Scott? Yes, sir. Hobble up here and tell us what's going on.
Brad Pitt? No.
Next time,
Trying to get a laugh out of y'all anyway.
next time you'll be running up.
Good evening, committee members. Scott Rickenbacker, Director of Construction. As you're aware, we report to you in design phase, construction phase, and then closeout phase. We've included a couple of the photos just so you can see some of the sales tax projects in action. The first design phase, you'll see we have Tortuga Preserve, Trafalgar Elementary, Trafalgar Middle, and Villas Elementary scheduled on our books. We typically try to do 2 projects per summer, depending on budget. We currently have Tortuga Preserve scheduled for summer of '26. Trafalgar Elementary, we're going to push to 2027 to be determined. And we have Trafalgar Middle, and that will be the summer of 2026, pending an eagle management plan. We have an eagle that has nested on our cell tower there, so we have to get the plan approved before we can go and disturb outside of the nesting season. And Village Elementary is also scheduled for summer of '26 for work, but that's our designs are done on these projects, and these are funded with sales tax dollars. Next slide, please.
That's the design phase, but, and the funds have been expended, correct?
For the design portions, correct.
So we don't have any estimate on the cost of the actual work?
We're
Yeah.
getting those estimates now for the summer. The GMPs were out for bidding, and we'll be compiling those and providing work authorizations to those vendors. The next slide, construction phase, the projects going on are Bonita Springs Elementary. That's the rebuild of the campus. Cape Coral Technical College, that's the expansion of the vocational program, adult education. And the Alva School, which did a traffic improvement. We're currently underway in that. It's about 80% complete. Just for your knowledge, because I know the question has come up before, Bonita Springs Elementary, the majority of that rebuild in that campus is funded. The majority, not all, but the majority is funded by sales tax. Cape Coral Technical College, the majority is also for that funded by sales tax, and you can see the cost values that we have in the right-hand column. And in the Alva School, 100% of that traffic reconciliation project, safety project, is funded by the sales tax. Are there any questions on those projects? Next slide, please. You'll see these are a couple of pictures. The first one is the Bonita Springs Elementary. You can see it on the far left of the picture. That is the main building facade going up. We're currently drying that building in. The next slide next to that is the expansion of the Tech College. That is in what the location was of the old Hector Caffaretta modular building that was placed there. So we've expanded that campus. And then to the right is the Alva School. That is the traffic improvement that we're creating, stacking around the back of the school, coming around the back and so forth for safety perspectives to get people off the road. Okay. Next slide is closeout phase. Currently we're closing out, and this has been a multi-year project with many changes in it. The Veterans Park Academy of the Arts, Lemuel Teal Middle School, and the new black box that has just recently opened. What you are seeing right now is the balance of a 3-year reporting on this. So the entire project that occurred at this campus was approximately $55 million, I believe the board had approved in our capital plan over those years. And the majority of all of the project costs is funded by sales tax, not the entirety, but the majority of it. The next item on the list is Harns Marsh Elementary School. This was a traffic improvement that we did last summer on that campus to get the traffic off the roads, get a safety loop and go into the back of the campus, and also to help teachers get on the campus, but predominantly to get the cars off the road for the safety of the students and the public. And that job is done, and right now we're getting ready to bring that to the board for final payment after the audit's been completed on that. Franklin Elementary, that project is completed. We're currently finishing up the auditing process, and that too will be brought. Now, the only portion of that is the debt service that Sarah had mentioned that we use against COPS funding to pay for those projects. Riverdale High School is completed, and we're currently preparing to submit all of the documents in for the auditing process on that. Is about 88 million. The school is about 108, but the majority of the money that was sales tax to provide this rebuild of that campus. And that's in the closeout phase of auditing. And again, a couple of pictures on the next slide. So these are just some of the Lemuel Teal renovations that have happened, both at VPAA, mechanical, electrical systems, air handling units inside, roofs, windows. VPAA, it's the school proper VPAA. We went in and did a refresh of all the interiors, carpeting, ceiling tiles, lights, and so on and so forth through there. You can see when we changed, the board had decided to name what used to be Lehigh Acres Middle School has become Lemuel Teal. The rebranding had occurred in that school. That's the center picture you see. And then, of course, the Black Box Theater, which just opened up, and I believe they had the ribbon cutting in September last year. Next, and that's it. And the only other slide I'm sure Sarah will talk about is my division. We're approximately 44% of the sales tax expenditure, so obviously most of that is on those bigger schools that are in construction, the Bonita, the Riverdale High School, VPAA, Lemuel Teal box. So successful in providing a benefit to the students. So I thank you as a citizen.
Thank you. Any questions? The Alva School is different from Alva High School.
Correct.
Okay, so that's why it's a separate traffic improvement just for that school. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Technology.
Ken Schwartz, Deputy Director, IT Operations. It says technology project updates. We can talk about the weather if you'd like. All right, next slide, please. All right, so we had some security hardening projects, 7 schools in total this past quarter for $48,000. And these upgrades included Bosch security system upgrades and also access control upgrades.
Before we move on.
Yes.
When you say it's an upgrade, when was it last upgraded? It's a refresh or a upgrade. These are small dollar amounts, but.
Yeah, so some of these were, they may have gone into the school and they may have built a wall or added a door. So some of the smaller dollar amounts that you see on there, we went in after they added the door and we put access control on it, or we may have added a door contact or a motion sensor, something like that. Next slide. All right, surveillance camera and server upgrades. We had 10 schools totaling $895,000 for cameras and server upgrades. These were NVR's servers that go in the schools that hold the video retention that we do on the surveillance cameras. These get upgraded periodically over the years.
These are, what's the lifespan of that surveillance updates?
5 years. They get 5 to 8 years. It just depends.
So is it almost $1 million just this quarter on upgrades?
Yes, sir.
895.
895.
Thanks.
And last slide, please. 945,000 on Dunbar High and Littleton Elementary for interactive panels that were put in the schools. Those are the Promethean panels.
What are the lifespan of that?
8 years.
Thanks.
Any questions?
Is there anything you'd like to do that you can't do?
Is there anything I'd like?
Any projects that you'd like to do that you can't do?
Put more access control on classroom doors.
What was that? Individual classroom?
Classroom doors. Access control on classroom doors.
Classroom door.
Yes. Yep.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm a new face to everyone, right? I'm Vince Colluck. I'll tell you why in a second. I'm Vince Colluck. I'm the new Director of Planning and Maintenance. A little bit about myself. I am a former school superintendent, so when I'm in front of a committee, I feel I have to be very formal. So I spent 10 years up north as a superintendent, was blessed enough to come down here and work for Lee County Schools, and I'm really excited to be here. I started in January, so please ask questions as we go through the PowerPoint, but I may not have every answer because I don't know everything going on yet, but I've learned a lot. A few things. One, thank you for being committee members and being servants to your community. It's an honor that you guys are doing this for the school system. You've had great questions to this point. And the other thing is I've spent 2 months truly just evaluating my two departments, and they've done a wonderful job. And I can tell you this, they're very good stewards of the tax dollar. So this sales tax is definitely being used in the correct way. And that's coming from a former superintendent. Next slide, please. This may answer some of the questions you had about the depreciation piece a little bit. This is the projects that the maintenance department has done over the last, going on 7 years now, since fiscal year 19 through June of 2025. These are the projects we've done, and particularly for me, I'm very, very, very pleased that we did 44 projects with HVAC. That's the heart of the building. I have experience as a superintendent, but also have experience of being in sales with energy systems. So very, very important that we upkeep our systems, and that's definitely what we're doing. Looks like we've done a lot of projects, 254 projects in building improvements, and that's a wide range of different projects, particularly on safety and security when technology talked about upgrading putting the sensors on the doors. That came a lot from safety and security for us to upgrade certain doors, put walls up to make a vestibule more secure. So hand in hand, I love that a lot of our departments work together. It's really great that we have that collaboration. Any questions on this slide? We didn't spend a lot on athletic facilities. I think there's a reason why we haven't done that, because we're focusing on long-term projects in our district. We are definitely, on this slide, hitting systems that last a long time. Can't give you the depreciation. I can tell you, if it was a total HVAC change, those are anywhere from 20 to 25 years with high efficiency as we change them out. So we're saving a lot of energy when we're doing that. Some of the other areas, longevity would be plumbing systems. Roofing systems are 20, 25-year warranties if we're doing a full change out. We are looking at doing some other type of roofing systems that are overlays that have 10-year warranties on them, but we've not implemented that. That's something I'm bringing to the table that we're talking a lot about. Any questions on this slide? Next slide, please. All right, currently right now for fiscal year 26, these are projects that have been completed, and if it says dispatch, those are projects that are in process of being worked on. So a majority of our projects are being worked on or at the inception of being completed. And if you notice in the description, a lot of door and hardware and a lot of fencing. That goes to Superintendent Carlin's vision of having every school safe and secure for our students and teachers. And that comes around with, again, collaborating with safety and security. Questions on those projects currently underway? And we have a dollar amount for you in a second on these.
Is there a requirement in Florida for a school to be fenced in, or is that a best practice security-wise?
I can't answer if it's a requirement, but I know it's a best practice with safety and security. I believe almost every building has complete fencing, but not all of them yet. So I know that's something that we're looking as a district to get to. Coming from up north, I do feel that our campuses are way safer up north because we do not fence in our campuses. We do not have a guard at the entrance for when guests are coming in, and there's a big difference in safety, I feel, just being I've been to about 22 buildings. I'm trying to make my rounds as I started.
Just to clarify, they are more secure here?
I believe, yes, way more secure down here in Florida than up north.
Okay.
I had a campus,
misheard what you said.
I had a campus of 5,700 students, and we did not have our campus fenced in with all on one campus.
Mr. Seminole, I can answer your question. The perimeter fencing is a requirement. After the Parkland shooting, that became a requirement for all schools to have perimeter fencing and single point of entry.
Thank you for that. Yeah, appreciate it. The next slide is dollar amounts. That's for current projects this year through March of 2026, and did a nice job of breaking out for you by which school level, but also the number of projects in each school level. We're at about $4.8 million spent, or going to be spent once projects are completed, and then the percentage on projects that we're doing right now, and then the percentage overall we have for the whole district is on your right-hand column. So it looks like we're spreading the dollars out amongst different buildings. I know we're following the capital plan that has been initiated. Some things get moved around a little bit as we go through either having the certain department working on an area or looking at adjusting. But we've moved 1 or 2 projects up from the plan and 1 or 2 projects down to 2027. So we're flexible with it, but definitely getting the work done. And the last one is pictures of 2 fences, speaking of fences that we've done. One is at Tice. We put a decorative fence there at Tice, and the reason for that is the area that Tice is in, the community, and the historic part of that building being historic. And then on the right-hand side is Diplomat, and that's the traditional fence we use with a lot of our schools, as the chain link fence. Questions?
Thank you. Questions? Unfair question. I'd like to ask unfair questions because you're new. In fiscal year 19, does the school district track deferred maintenance deficits? Like at the end of the year, could you say, we are at a $100 million deficit? I'm a marketing guy. So if we could say at fiscal year 19, we had a $400 million deferred maintenance deficit, and today we have a $100 million deficit, we could say the school tax has really reduced the deferred maintenance deficit because we've done all of these 400, 500 projects.
So I have seen the plan back from 19 when we were going out for the tax, and it was everything listed of what we wanted or we needed to be done. I don't know if there's a dollar amount on that because that takes a lot of time to get estimated cost. And if we think of 19, if we even did an estimated cost in 19, we're way underestimating because all units have skyrocketed after the pandemic of cost. So usually escalation, you put a 3 to 5% increase on cost of material over each year. That has been blown out of the ballpark. So it probably would be truly an underestimate, but I do understand what you're saying. I don't know if we do that year to year though. So that's a great question. It's something I can look into.
We do. I don't know about back in 19, I would assume, but as we build our capital plan, every department, maintenance, technology, construction, safety, they all put everything forward as to needs for our schools, and then we build the plan based on the revenue that we have, and we do document the monetary amount of unmet needs or what we could not fit into the plan.
So do you know if that's significantly changed, or do these principals just get better ideas over the years?
Well, it's not necessarily their ideas, right? It's the maintenance rotation plan that has been developed, what needs to be replaced or refreshed. That's what's going into the plan.
So we probably couldn't say that the sales tax has significantly reduced the structural capital maintenance deficit that we had. I'm looking for a talking point for the resurrection of the sales tax.
I think you could look at the sales tax expenditures in the maintenance area, and it's definitely helped. You can't say that it has not helped deferred maintenance. We've spent millions of dollars in maintenance.
Sure. I'm scared to think of what these schools would look like without the sales tax going into the new roofs, the new AC, the new flooring, I mean, you've done a great job, and your team has done a great job.
Very expensive to replace.
And those things have a long lifespan, usually, for what you're doing, which
all of those units usually do, yes.
Yeah, no. There's a talking point in there, we'll find it. Any other questions? No. Thank you. Great job.
Thank you for your commitment.
And welcome to Lee County.
Yeah. Thanks, appreciate it.
Shall we move forward to the review of the financials? He's back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Better than he's like Batman. He sneaks up on me.
Let me review the financials. The first slide that we have here is just our estimated capital revenue for FY26, and of that you can see that we originally projected sales tax of 117 million and 117.6, of which that constitutes 28% of the capital budget. Next slide is a breakdown of the sales tax budget, totaling 235 million for the year, including the fund balance that we have. Of that, as Scott said, the majority is in construction, including the debt service for schools. As well, you'll see the breakdown for safety, maintenance, technology, what we have in reserve, and then the portion that is now in charter disbursements, which constitutes about 2% currently. And the next slide is the monthly sales tax collection for the year. You can see it's a breakdown or comparison between FY25 and FY26, and it looks like we are actually tracking very closely to what we had for last year, which seems to suggest that at this point, we're kind of flat on growth. And then here's a breakdown of inception to date, so from January of 2019 to February 23rd, where we're at currently with total collections, about $734 million. We're going about 5% over what we've initially projected from 2019 through today. For FY26, we currently collected about 54 million, so just a little shy of the amount that we've projected for the year, about 219 under. So tracking pretty closely to what we projected for this year. And the last slide, you'll see the breakdown by month, so how the 54 was collected, and then the 219 below what is projected. So about 0.04% under. So tracking pretty closely, like I said, to what we had actual for last year and what we've projected for this year. All right, any questions?
You have any major concerns about how it's tracking or no?
No, not currently.
Any other questions? Online? Hearing none. Moving on. Thank you. Good work. I believe we're at the point where we need two motions, correct? We'll entertain a motion to approve the sales tax financials as presented as being consistent with the expenditures requirements. That is our first motion that we need to be made.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Cole. Thank you, Sharon. Any conversation? Discussion? Comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. The second motion that we take in the committee is to approve the projects as presented as being consistent with the project requirements. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Thank you. Any conversation? Discussion? Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Member comments? Any comments from the committee moving forward? We'll go online first. Anyone online have any comments or questions?
I have one comment, Bobby. It seems to me that 2028 isn't very far away when you're wanting to get something passed like a sales tax. It also seems to me that the many projects that have been so successful and so helpful for our schools is so obvious. And I know the school board has not been able to make any commitment to that yet, but I think we really need to let the public know what this sales tax has done individually and collectively for our school system. It's very important to get that message out. And I'm not so sure how we can do that, but I want to be part of it.
Thank you.
And I think we need to do it, I agree with her, but we need to do it repeatedly. It's not a one-time event. You're a marketing person, I'm a marketing person, we've done this. It can't be a one-time event. This has to be something where we make sure that parents and voters in general understand what this school surtax has done.
Registered. I will also refer to the last meeting when the representative
We did
of
the
the
same-
school district
yes.
said they are not intending to communicate
That's
the
correct.
success of the sales tax until the board had made a motion of how to proceed. And we wouldn't be proceeding with community presentations. So if it is to be done, it would be up to the individuals on the committee. Any other comments, members? You can write an editorial. You can do a community presentation. You can launch an initiative. You could do
And that's,
anything.
and then we can do that, okay.
That's, the school district board has not determined their position on this yet.
It might be so important to discuss that at some meeting so we can be, collegial and also be directive, and also so that we all know what each other's doing. What do you think about that? To really talk about this in the future, so we plan it.
There's a difference between supporting the surtax and talking about how the dollars are spent. And I
Yes.
don't know why that's not something that the school board isn't doing, or other people. That shouldn't be on us. It's on all the people who are actually spending the money. Not a value judgment.
100% agree with you.
Right.
But it
I
was
agree.
clear at the last meeting that they were not going to.
I know, that's
do
why I
that,
brought it
so.
up again.
Me too.
And I would personally say that I just reach out to the school board members directly and have spoken with the majority of the board, and the majority of the board are in favor of extending the sales tax. They need to do that as a
Right, but
group,
the
not
pre-
as
but
individuals.
the precursor is to talk to the public on an ongoing basis as to what the dollars are being used for.
Some of that's being done through the website, but the community presentations are not being done. I think we need to speak up if we're in favor of communicating to the community. Any other questions online or comments? Hearing none? We don't need a motion to adjourn. Let's adjourn. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you online.